Okay, don't hit skip before we start today's podcast. I'm really excited. This is a personal, exciting thing for me. I wanted to quickly let you guys know about my upcoming Off the Vine tour called Pour Decisions. Pour, wine will be drank. I'm back on the road for the first leg of our tour. I'm coming through the good old Midwest. For the second half, I'll be headed to the Southeast. So I'm going Columbus, Cleveland, Ohio, Atlanta, Madison, Des Moines, Kansas City, Columbia, Missouri, Tampa, Orlando, Nashville. I'm coming to all you beautiful people. These podcast tours are always a highlight of my year because there's just no other way to put it than it's just pretty damn fun. I get to hang out with you in person. It's just the energy is electric. It's just insane. Like leaving those live podcasts, I'm like, whoa, that felt like an empowerment session. I feel elevated. The vibrations, don't get me started on how high those are. So check out my website, KaitlynBristowe.com, to buy tickets for those who join me. I can guarantee a little dancing, a lot of laughing, wine, lots of wine. Even if you're pregnant. I've had pregnant, sober people come to my show and say it was still fun. They bring their boyfriends, their husbands, and I even see them smiling at the end of it. So let's toast to that. I'll see you on tour. I'm Kaitlyn Bristowe. Your session is now starting.
Grape Therapy.
Welcome to the...
Welcome to Off the Vine podcast. I'm Kaitlyn Bristowe.
And I'm Todd Anderson.
I'm the founder of Dream Recovery, and I am all around obsessed with sleep and recovery.
And he's going to teach us everything we need to know about sleep today.
Exactly.
I love that you're drinking red wine with me today.
I know, it's so random.
Is it random?
For me.
Oh, okay, not for me.
It's like 1 o'clock.
No, you don't tell people at home it's 1 o'clock and we're drinking wine. We make them think it's 8 p.m. on a Friday.
So daylight savings is Sunday. When is this coming out?
Yeah, we just, while people are watching this, we just had it. Thank you for my intro. That's literally what I was about to call you, the sleep guru, and how we just dealt with losing an hour of sleep.
Oh, it just happened?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So technically, this comes out on Tuesday, I think, and daylight savings happen on Sunday. How do you feel about daylight savings?
It's stupid.
You think it's stupid?
Definitely. We can talk about it. It's pretty interesting how it
I do want to
originated.
talk about it. Is it what, for farmers or something?
No, see, that's what everyone thinks. It actually started in, it was Germany's idea in World War I to conserve energy.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, but farmers hated it because of they get up early.
Yeah.
And so
So farmers didn't like it.
the idea was during the World War is to like save energy for the country and, allocate resources, which doesn't really make any sense because it's going to be the same amount of time and light anyways.
Yeah.
So it's not going to do anything.
So this is World War I.
Well, Benjamin Franklin originally proposed it.
Holy shit, you really know sleep shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Does the daylight savings always happen on a Sunday?
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's a Saturday night, start of the week.
Oh, start of the week.
What else is weird about daylight savings is every country does it at a different time. There's not a standard
Yeah, and
thing.
some people don't do it.
Arizona doesn't do it.
Arizona and Hawaii, I think.
But really what we should do is standard time. We should stay on, everyone wants to keep daylight savings time.
Yeah.
But we really should stick on standard time for like the health and wellness.
Tell me why.
Which is earlier. Because that's the more natural rhythm with the sun. So you would wake up and it gets darker earlier, which doesn't sound good. But you already get a ton more sunlight in the summer anyways. But it allows people to wind down and go to bed earlier, which going to bed earlier is way more impactful on like mental health.
This is why I have mental health struggles. That's it. We just found the cure. It's because
probably,
I drink wine and I'm a night owl.
More things worked in there.
Well, we're going to dive into all that because I want to know. I'm a good sleeper. The problem is I'm a good sleeper, but I don't think I'm getting quality sleep. Like I can go nap anytime. I can sleep through the night, but I don't know if I'm getting quality sleep.
What makes you say that? Well, we should talk about it on the thing.
I know. I've got a little bit of an order over here. We're going to go in order. I still am on daylight savings time. You think it's stupid?
Definitely.
Okay. So isn't there like a law changing where we're not going to do it anymore?
They're voting on it, but it's not going to pass.
You don't think so?
For some reason, they can't get any momentum.
Okay, well, what are good sleeping tips and habits for people to take advantage of losing that hour of sleep? Do we actually lose an hour of sleep?
The best thing you can do, like the week after daylight savings, is set an early set an early wake time.
Okay.
And be super consistent for 7 days.
Okay.
Right, because you're gonna lose an hour of sleep either way, and the consistency is the most important thing.
Okay.
So almost making yourself tired.
Yeah.
It's much easier for us to stay up later than to go to bed earlier. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So
yes,
you almost have to like get your body tired and used to waking up earlier, rather than sleep in a little later and gradually adjust, you're better off just like biting the bullet, set your alarm early, if not a little earlier than normal at the time you'd like to wake up normally. And then after 7 days, you'll be ready to go. But you're going to be tired the initial week.
Like if you're somebody who travels a lot, you go to LA, you go to West Coast, then you go to East Coast, then you're on Central Time. Like, is that just messing everybody up? Because I do that all the time. And I feel exhausted when I get home. But I'm like, but what? I still slept 8 hours every night that I was there. Why am I still so tired?
Yeah. So the problem is like there's two things that drive your sleep, right? You have your sleep drive cycle or sleep pressure.
Yeah.
Okay. That's like this chemical that builds up and it makes you feel sleepy.
Okay.
Right? So like caffeine blocks that chemical.
Okay.
But you also have your circadian rhythm, which you've heard about.
Yeah.
And so that is your body's alignment with light and your normal sunrise and sunset. The problem is hopefully those align. Hopefully, your body gets tired the same time that you normally go to bed and wake up. Like that makes sense. They align. So when you shift time zones and you sleep in, you stay up later, your circadian rhythm stays the exact same. It takes a long time to change, but your sleep drive cycle or sleep pressure changes. So when those don't align, like when that chemical doesn't build up throughout the day the same rate as your normal time zone, when they get thrown off and you switch time zones, you can't fall asleep.
So I should be sticking to the same, like if I go to LA, I should just sleep.
Rule of thumb is like if it's less than a week, try to stay on the time zone that you live in.
It's less than a week. Okay.
If it's more than a week, it's probably worth it to adjust.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough.
It takes a few days to really, much easier going east to west than west to east because you get up
that
earlier.
Makes sense.
Like I said, it's much easier to stay up later than to wake
I am
up.
such a night owl. Do you believe that this started in like caveman days where there's people that needed to watch in the day and people that needed to watch at night for predators? So that's why we're night owls and morning people?
I mean, I'm sure that happened, but I don't think that's why there's different ones. But there are different genes.
I like to think I'm a night watcher.
No, there are people that just naturally tend to function better later or earlier. Some people just aren't naturally morning people. Like, and there's some genes associated with that. But the one thing I'll say is I've never met someone that can't train themselves to do either or. So most people are adaptable.
But I genuinely enjoy nighttime.
Which is fine.
So is there like a certain time of the night we should be going to bed consistently and waking up? Like, should it be with sunset and sunrise?
And that makes it easier, but you can, this day and age of technology, like you can control light and dark.
Yeah. Like the hatch sleep.
Right. Yeah.
That like gives you the light that gradually turns on in the morning.
Yeah, for sure. And which it mimics sunlight, but at the same time, like that, like not near the power of the sun. The sun has insane amounts of energy. No light can mimic the sun.
Huh.
They have, small. It's similar like wavelengths, but it's not near the amount of total energy.
So you think I could train myself to go to bed early? What time is early? Like early to me is 9 p.m. That's going to bed early.
Yeah.
Oh, that's early?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's for most people. That's early. Yeah.
Okay. Like usually I go to bed at 11, 12.
Which is fine as long as you're sleeping enough.
Okay.
There are some new studies coming out showing that, especially for nutritional choices, it seems that the hours before midnight are more impactful, meaning like they have a better outcome, like health and longevity wise. But it's kind of like the chicken and the egg, where is it because the people going to bed earlier just have a better overall lifestyle, or is it because of the actual hours before are more impactful? But regardless, trumping everything else, consistency in your bedtime and wake time are the most.
Oh, really?
Thing. Yeah, for sure.
Consistency. Ooh, that's where I struggle with anything consistent in my life.
Consistency and quantity, right? So if you're going to bed at midnight, okay, that's fine, but you can't be getting up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, which I would never. I'm not an early morning girly.
No.
Ever?
Flights?
I choose my flights to be later in the day.
I'm a hard no on early flights.
Yeah, me too.
So like me and Katie were flying back for Christmas.
Yeah.
And Katie also had like a hair appointment, but she was like, I'm gonna go early. I'm gonna take the 6 a.m. flight. And I was like, I'll meet you there.
Really?
And I took the later flight.
Separately,
I
just
took
so
the
you
9
could
o'clock flight. Yes.
I would do that too.
I definitely practice what I preach with that.
Have you always been into sleep? What got you into studying sleep?
Yeah, so I always was kind of obsessed with human performance. So I walked down to Michigan State in football. So if people don't know, that means basically like you don't have a scholarship and you just show up and have to prove yourself. So I became obsessed with it, human performance in general, because I was like, I'm not good enough to be here. I need to squeeze every ounce of ability out of myself.
Yeah.
And then, after I stopped playing football, I got into the strength conditioning world. But the more and more I learned, sleep was just emerging. I mean, this is maybe 15 years ago. and there were just tidbits of data, but it was like sleep is this really powerful thing that is kind of the foundation of health and wellness. Well, the more and more stuff that came out, the more I got interested in it. I got to spend time with some amazing doctors, some of the top people. And then I started speaking on it about 6 years ago. And I just became obsessed because one, people weren't talking about it then. And and two, when you see someone, like when they really change their sleep habits, it's unbelievable what happens to their quality of life. Like nothing is more impactful. Workouts, nutrition, none of that. Like
sleep
if someone's not sleeping well and then they fall into a good routine with their sleep, they're going to feel like a different person. And then usually like the nutrition choices fall in line, their workouts fall in line, like everything, you know, you get some momentum.
It makes sense because there's one of my friends, her husband is in the sleep apnea world and he sells the machines and just the stats around like your sex life improving, your work performance.
I like that's the first thing you said. Of all the things, talking about dying, longevity, your sex life improves.
Well, listen, I just had a libido expert on the podcast and now it's on the brain where I'm like, what else can help? Sleep.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, well, one, sleep apnea is wildly underdiagnosed and it's really bad for you. I mean, it's similar to having like mini strokes and heart attacks the entire night.
And does it just like over time build up and get worse for your body?
Definitely, yeah. And the problem is, you know, when we're younger, we're pretty resilient. You don't realize the impact it's having, and it kind of picks up momentum over time. Well, you get to be 50, 60 years old, and it's really hard to reverse those effects. So I always recommend people, they have these super easy $200 at-home sleep studies. It takes one night, connects to your phone. You can at least get like an idea of where you're at. It's like blood work. It's like blood work for your sleep. You need a baseline.
What do you think about the Oura Ring?
It's great.
Okay.
I mean, I wear a Whoop. I've worn Oura Ring. They're good, but you just can't get too in the weeds with them. People get really obsessed.
Yes.
Like there's a term for it. It's like orthosomniac, which is the obsession with fixing your sleep. Like, you know, orthopedic surgeon. They fix joints. Yeah. So
Would you consider yourself one of those?
I'm not. Because you really want to keep a positive relationship with your sleep,
right?
And the more you worry about it, the worse it's going to get. Which is a hard balance.
I mean, you're literally saying it affects everything in your life. It doesn't. I heard it even sleep can affect hormones for women.
Oh yeah. I mean, majority of like the biggest growth hormone spike of the day is the first sleep cycle. Majority of your sex hormones are produced throughout the night. I mean, everything in your body. It's almost like a reset. Everywhere from your brain, your mental health, you know, all the toxins in your brain, all the way to your hormone production. It really is like the reset button that starts a new day, and everything is kind of based off that timing.
It freaks me out that we all just like slip into this coma and then hallucinate with dreams, and then we wake up and pretend that that's not something weird.
Yeah, if you really start to think of it that way, you can freak yourself out.
It freaks me out. Where do we go when we dream? Do you think we go into another realm, or do you think we're just
dimension?
Like, how do we have vivid dreams? Last night, if I told you my dreams, you'd be like, an hour later, you'd be like, shut up. I can tell you every detail. It's crazy.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not?
No.
If you have vivid dreams, what does that mean?
It's good that you're dreaming, but just because you don't remember it doesn't mean you're not having them. But the majority of your dreams are in your REM cycles.
Yeah.
Which is the most active stage of sleep.
So it is good that
and REM cycles is where your brain really it's like a reset for your mental health. Like, so your mood stability, your emotional stability, your ability to read emotions, and your ability to emote emotions. That's the sleep that really depends on, or that's your body really depends on REM sleep in order to, stabilize and really be yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the sleep that really reduces depression like symptoms, and all the amazing things from a mental health perspective that happens in sleep comes from those REM cycles.
Which also feels like such a vicious cycle, because I feel like when you're depressed, you can't sleep.
Well, there's not one psychiatric disorder that sleep disorders is not listed as a symptom.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because some people sleep too much if they're depressed.
Yeah, for sure.
And that is also
even so. If you shifted the middle of your night 1 hour forward, meaning you're getting basically an hour more sleep, your chances of depression goes down 25%.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about a universal struggle we all know too well: taming the frizz. Like, who has time for that? But there is good news. I've discovered something that's been a game changer in my routine, and that's Ouai's new anti-frizz cream. You know, I'm all about keeping it real. Let me tell you, the anti-frizz cream fits seamlessly into my hair routine, and it's become my go-to for immediate frizz control that lasts Get a load of this, a whopping 72 hours. Plus it protects against heat damage and also smells amazing. And my hair never looked or smelled better. I am headed to Florida and that is definitely in my suitcase already. So grab Ouai's Anti-Frizz Cream and kiss frizz goodbye. Plus check out their top sellers for even more hair love. Ready to ditch the frizz? Head to theouai, THEOUAI.com and use promo code VINE for 15% off. That's THEOUAI.com, promo code VINE. All right, small, easy changes in your skincare routine can have amazing results, and your secret weapon should be Dime Beauty. Now, Dime Beauty is clean, it's high-end skincare that is affordable, and it really does work. Dime didn't sacrifice performance just to make it clean either. I have used it. It is amazing, and when I say clean, Dime is 100% transparent about every single ingredient, so you can use their products daily with confidence. Now, if you want to take the guesswork out of your routine, I do suggest you start with their Works collection, the restorative night cream that truly is one of the best things ever. You don't have to remember the order of a 10-step routine. I know that gets complicated. No one really has time for that. But the Work system is everything you need in one powerful package. And that includes a gentle cleanser, a toner, 2 incredible serums, and 2 luxurious moisturizers. Plus Dime's sold out retinol alternative. The TBT cream is finally back in stock. So make sure to check that out while you're there. Just imagine all the benefits without the peeling, the redness, all the issues that come with the retinol. Yes, please. Dime has over 2 million happy customers and their product reviews are literally 5 stars. All of them. So if you haven't checked out Dime, where have you been? Love your skin again. Go to dimebeautyco.com to unlock your discount. That's dimebeautyco.com. Dime Beauty, clean, affordable, luxurious skincare.
We know what we're doing and we know it's bad. I mean, we keep doing it.
Anything we know is bad for us. People know. I mean, look at nutrition, right?
Yeah,
Like you literally
true.
have to, it's amazing the thought process. You have to physically put things in your mouth that
Yeah.
you might, like people have, how many people have a weight loss goal?
Yeah.
And it is so difficult.
It's such an addiction.
Oh, I was addicted to food.
Were you
Even if I
really?
had never seen like I was 296 pounds.
Like an overweight, not muscle?
Oh yeah. So I literally, this picture was posted on Facebook. Same day I had a physical, got on the scale, I was 296 pounds. And I texted Katie, I was like, this is like rock bottom. I struggle with, my
Like
just
body
definitely,
dysmorphia.
Yeah. People always are like, you're crazy. I'm like, I'm telling, like
But that's what body dysmorphia is. I have it too. People will be like, but you're so small and
Yeah.
in shape. And I'm like, that doesn't mean you don't have body dysmorphia.
Yeah, like I don't like to like take my shirt off very much. It's just
Really?
weird because I also love the sauna, so it's like,
Well, I don't like
not-
to take my shirt off, which is weird because I love being naked. It doesn't make any sense.
that is very counterintuitive.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't know what's wrong with me, but
I
it's
want to
true.
find this picture.
It's so interesting because so were you sleeping shitty when you were that?
I was
Wait?
drinking quite a bit. We went to this startup and weren't around the right people. It was a bad business
Yeah.
move, and I was just super unhappy.
Yeah.
It wasn't working out.
Yeah.
Drinking every night, and you just before you know it, all of a sudden,
No way. No way.
yeah, yep.
Oh, look at little Katie beside you. Well, it's not like you look terrible. You just don't look healthy like you do now.
Well, I felt pretty terrible. And
Yeah.
I felt pretty bad about myself. For sure.
I'm so sorry.
Well, it's part of the process.
It
You
is.
can't skip steps.
And is that when you kind of started getting like
Well,
I don't when was your football career
So I
compared to
dealt
this?
I dealt with this a lot as a kid. I was overweight.
Yeah.
And like I almost, I would have like excuses pre-made in my head for the summer not to go to pool parties.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I always was like that, but then I got in really good shape. It kind of drove me. And then with football, I was in great shape. But then when I stopped playing, it was just hard to be super motivated.
Yeah.
Just because,
Mhm.
I'm not like overly vain. Like I'm not motivated by like how I look tremendously. I'm not obsessed with it. Some people like
Yeah.
that drives them.
Yeah.
And so just to work out, going from having this, such a exact goal, and I was just wanted to be great at football, and it was a very A plus B equals C.
Yeah.
The stronger I get, the better I get, the faster, the better I do. So
Mhm.
going from that to trying to just be in shape was very hard.
Yeah.
And also just trying to figure your life out post sport is
Oh my gosh.
hard. And so
I mean, because that's all you do your whole life. You eat, sleep, breathe a sport, and your family is so invested in
Yeah.
it. And
people care about it.
Yeah.
And then also you experience these highs
Yeah.
that are so high. I mean, you run out in front of 100,000 people.
Mhm.
It's hard to even describe that
Yeah.
feeling. But the problem is like then your baseline of like what's exciting and what
Yes.
is that dopamine spike like
Yes.
is raised.
Yeah.
Ideally, you have your life and you keep chipping away, you have accomplishments, you get new jobs, married, you have kids, you have all these great things, houses, like it just is a gradual climb of success.
Right.
And then every step of the way, you have this constant perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even like Katie, Katie goes to the Olympics at 15 years old.
Yeah.
Her, what's exciting is really shifted.
This is Todd's wife, by the way.
Yeah, my wife.
Yeah, she was an Olympic swimmer, and I can't imagine what her identity was, and then coming out of that, trying to figure out like what is next.
Yeah, and I don't think that ever ends, honestly, but I think
because athletes are also bred a certain way. It's like in you to win and do more and outperform
but
your last.
It's like,
yeah.
You want to win, but then, what's a big win? And that's shifted dramatically.
Yeah.
Right? Like just functioning in the regular world, maybe getting a promotion doesn't feel nearly as impactful as going to the Olympics.
Yeah, no
right?
kidding.
But for most people, that's a huge, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
So I think trying to, I don't know if there's a great solution to that.
I mean, I get it. I won Dancing with the Stars, so hold for applause.
I mean, that's pretty sweet, actually, though.
Oh, thank you.
That's pretty sweet.
But I can't imagine that being my whole I mean, I did dance my whole life, but I mean like training my whole life to get to that moment. I trained for like 3 months and it was so exciting, but training your whole life to get to a certain moment and then
that's it.
Yeah.
Sports is also very strange and unique in the sense of once you're out of the sport, people forget very quickly.
Yeah. Yes.
A lot of other things, especially in the spotlight, in the world of like fame, things linger on. If you do something, people remember you for it for a long time.
Yeah.
Sports, it's almost like as soon as you stop playing, it's a very like here and now. People care about who's on the team currently, and then especially if you're like a big star, like you're quickly forgotten.
That's sad because I feel like athletes also have egos to work with.
All the other athletes, not me.
Yeah, of course not you. Not me either.
They do,
My
but
ego's
some do,
ridiculous.
but I think you're humbled pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, I feel that way out of like even reality television. I feel like you get humbled so quickly because you're at the top and everybody's talking about you, but a month later it's a new bachelor, a new bachelorette, a new
I've
season.
never seen an episode.
Oh, don't start now. Don't start now.
I honestly I haven't watched barely any reality TV. Jersey Shore back in the day, huge.
Oh, yeah.
Was a huge fan.
Jersey Shore is
That was
amazing.
about it.
I actually find when I watch Bachelor seasons, even if I don't watch and I know it's Monday night and it's on, I don't sleep as well because I'm like PTSD. Like something puts me back in that time and my memory starts going crazy.
Yeah.
And like my Monday nights are still 8 years later tough for me to sleep because I'm thinking about it.
What'd you guys go through? I mean, I've met a lot of people in Nashville from it, and some of the stories I'm like, that doesn't seem fun at all.
No, it's like psychological warfare.
I know.
No, it's crazy, but it's like I try and when I'm having moments like that where I try and think about, okay, what is my nighttime routine? So I want to know what your nighttime routine is. Like, walk us through what it looks like for you. And is it important to have a consistent nighttime routine? Because I know it's important to have a consistent, like, sleep routine, but, like, what you do before you go to bed.
I would say the reason why having a great nighttime routine is important is for the consistency.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But if you were able to just fall asleep right away without much of a routine, that would be totally fine.
Yeah.
So it's more about the psychological triggers. But most people need that.
The routine?
Yeah,
Like,
in
what
order
do
to
you
trigger
do?
themselves. So for me, I do sauna every single night.
Oh, you sauna
Yeah.
before bed every night?
But I do sauna every single night.
Wow.
That's non-negotiable.
At what time? Do you have a specific time you do it? Like, where does your body go when you are in the sauna to help you relax? Like, what does it do? I know you're a big sauna guy.
What do you mean, what does it do?
Like, what happens to your body when you're in a sauna?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so really the heat before bed is great for sleep. Any type of heat. So there's amazing benefits of sauna for longevity, especially like neurodegenerative diseases, Alzheimer's, dementia. But
Oh, wow.
for sleep, it's really just about the heat and warming your core body temperature up. Because in order for us to fall asleep quickly and get into the early sleep cycles, it has to cool down. It drops about a degree and a half. So when you heat up before bed, your body reacts and it's like, I need to cool myself down really quickly.
Yeah.
And you overreact and it allows you to drop your temperature really fast and you fall asleep faster. So anything, sauna, even hot shower, bath, hot tub, any of that stuff is really effective for falling asleep.
That's so interesting because when I have trouble falling asleep, I need to be cold.
Well, so that's the other thing is you want to be cold.
Oh.
But so
okay, I
if
see
you have
what
a
you're saying.
really cold bedroom, 65 degrees is pretty
Okay.
ideal. So when you heat yourself up, your body reacts and then you expose yourself to that cold bedroom.
Yeah.
Your temperature drops really quickly and you
And that helps you
really
sleep.
you want to fall asleep fast.
I need to get cold to like fall asleep, but I hate being cold when I wake up because it makes me not want to get out of bed.
Right. Well, ideally, honestly, ideally, and there are some thermostats that do this, you would have the room actually gradually heat up throughout the night.
Wait, I think my new thermostat does that.
Yeah.
It said schedule on the screen the other day,
so
and
you
I was
could
like,
do that
I was overwhelmed.
because in the morning you actually want your temperature to heat up. So that's why cold plunging in the morning is great, because it's super cold. Opposite reaction, you get really cold and your body reacts. That's why you like shiver, and it boosts your core temperature up and you wake up.
Okay. Explain this to me, and it might just be a me problem. But if I wake up and I can't get back to sleep and my brain's spiraling, I get out of bed, I make myself cold, and I physically shake my whole body. And that like helps me with anxiety, and then it like makes my body want to relax again.
Wait, so you intentionally do that?
Yeah. Like I get
Like
up and I'm
shiver?
like, ah! No, I like jump and shake.
Yeah, well, so
Not just like,
anytime you like apply a big stressor,
yeah.
afterwards your body has the opposite reaction. It's going to try to.
So is that a good thing I do that, or is that weird?
You know what's funny is you say you have like insane dreams, is when you're under a lot of anxiety, your body actually will have more REM sleep to try to combat the anxiety, because that's the type of sleep
my
that helps with
anxiety,
that.
just helping my sleep.
Exactly.
That's nice.
And females actually have a little bit more REM sleep because they're naturally a bit more prone to anxiety.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What is or do you know anything about women doing cold plunges around their cycle?
And I mean, cold therapy in general is just net positive.
Yeah, okay.
But your temperature changes quite a bit along with your sleep throughout your cycle.
Yeah.
So like your first half of your cycle, you're going to have a little bit less REM sleep than the second half of the cycle, and your temperature regulation changes quite a bit. So in general, anything you can do regarding sleep to regulate those temperatures, like the hot before bed and the cold in the morning, is going to have even more of an impact when you have all the volatility of the cycles.
Okay.
It's already a challenge.
Yeah.
So kind of tee your body up as much as you can. The other thing with cycles is it's very, and I'm not an expert in this, but it's very inconsistent person to person. Everyone's, as you know, everyone's very different in their regulations and how they react to things, and even how much their hormones vary. So
and medications they're on.
Definitely. There's so much stuff. So I think it's almost like, as a female, I would even be more particular about using temperature and different protocols to optimize your sleep, because it changes much more. You know, men are very consistent in that regards. Hormones fluctuate day to day. Like, you know, we have changes in testosterone and sex hormones like cycle throughout one singular day. Well, you guys have pretty vast differences throughout an entire month. So it's less of an issue. It's pretty predictable.
Yeah.
We're moody for other reasons, for sure. I'm not saying that we're consistent and all that.
Yeah.
But
thank you for saying that.
We just have daily cycles.
But wait, what is your I said medicine, and it made me think, what is your take on sleeping pills, like sleeping pills, the like lorazepam, but melatonin, like anything?
Almost all medication reduces REM sleep. Almost all.
Oh,
but if
so
you
it
have
might
something
put you-
clinical go on, like I'm not saying
Of
you always
course.
with your doctor, but like, you know, like Z-Quil, Benadryl, NyQuil, all that stuff, you know, that's basically just Benadryl, and it reduces, it messes with the architecture of your sleep. Sleep is all about flowing through these sleep cycles at the right time and having the right proportions of it. And it creates this perfect night's sleep. When you start throwing things like that in, it changes how these cycles flow, and that's why you don't get good quality of sleep.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
And melatonin is weird because melatonin is a hormone, right? In almost every country in Europe, it's a controlled substance. You have to get prescribed it. You can't just go buy melatonin.
Yeah.
You know,
You also need to get prescribed like Advil over there.
Yeah. But it's a hormone just like, you know, any other hormone that has an impact on things other than just sleep, right? So a couple things on melatonin. One, it's triggered by the absence of light, so darkness, right? So the reason why I think so many people are taking it is because people don't control their light. So you almost want to mimic your light inside like outside. So have a nice continuum of your living space to your bedroom. A lot of people just have, okay, this is my living room, the lights are on, and then I want to fall asleep. It's really dark in my room. But if it's dark in your living space, you'll be producing melatonin for hours before you go to bed. And most people have the ability to produce plenty of melatonin.
So do you think TV in the bedroom is a no-no?
Yeah, it's not great, but I'll say this, is I have a TV in my bedroom.
Yeah.
And me and Katie watch one episode of a show every single night. And that's the thing with sleep, is you have to have priorities in life.
Yeah, and joy.
The most important part of life, and this is actually measurable from a longevity perspective, is relationships and quality of relationships. So that time with Katie, we've done it for 10 years. That time's very special to me.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like I would not trade that for almost anything.
So what do you mean? You watch one episode and like that's your like quality
That's
time
kind of like
together?
our, like, well, I mean, we spend time together other than that, but
Yeah, of
like,
course.
we look forward to it.
Yeah.
We just kind of hang out, like
Yeah.
we're with each other.
Yeah.
Like yeah, even having skin on skin touch reduces
Totally.
anxiety. There's
Yeah.
just like so many positives of that, and I look forward to it every single night.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
if there's like a small negative impact to my sleep, I'll trade that any day of the week.
So you
So
sauna,
You can do things. Yeah. So sauna for sure.
Netflix, one episode.
Like my sauna
skin to
protocol,
skin.
we usually do 15 minutes
Yep.
in the sauna, dip in the cold for about 30 seconds
Yeah.
to cool down, back in the sauna for 15, dip, and then like hot tub for 15 if we have like a lot of time.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You do that every night?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And sometimes there's a lot of people over. It depends. But
Yeah, you
usually,
guys do throw your
Yeah.
little sauna parties.
but usually it's just us. I take a few supplements. I take a magnesium 3 and 8 supplement, but nothing crazy. And then so then I head up to bed, do your normal face wash, brush my teeth. I mean, oral hygiene, super underrated for health and longevity.
I've heard this.
Like people don't understand how
Because aren't your teeth like connected to your heart in some way?
well, just the inflammation in general,
Okay.
and some of the bacteria and the plaque buildup. So there's a direct link between plaque buildup in your mouth and oral hygiene and heart disease.
Yeah.
People don't realize that, but mouth tape is amazing for oral hygiene as well.
Okay, say hello to your real life makeup filter in a bottle, CoverGirl's Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence. Now, this product gives me a radiant bare skin filter effect that I'm obsessed with, and I'm gonna tell you how you can too. Start by blending the formula with your favorite makeup brush to activate the tinted micro droplets. So I actually start with my fingers, rub it on, and then I go in with a brush. So then you blend that directly onto your face, and you will see it start to give you this sheer, even tint. And you can start with a small amount and add as much as you want for the coverage that you're looking for. And it works so well by blurring the imperfections while also moisturizing your face. I truly highly recommend it. And you can get the Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence only from, say it with me now, Easy Breezy Beautiful CoverGirl.
Okay, so let's talk about mouth tape.
Yeah.
Obviously, you give a lot of good general tips of what to do before bed to help you sleep. And I want to talk about eye masks too, but mouth tape, do you use it every night?
Every night for 3 years.
Okay, tell me all of the benefits because you got me on mouth tape. However, that was like
Yep.
6 months ago or something. I love it. But my problem, and I told you this, I was like, but I get spray tans once a week and I don't want to rip off my spray tan.
Yeah.
So you came out with smaller
Priorities,
ones.
right?
Well, because not a lot of people have this issue. I might be one of the only ones.
I bet a fair amount of people
There's
have
a
it.
lot of people,
Yeah.
they just don't admit it.
Yeah.
But you have mouth tape, but you have smaller ones
Yeah.
now, which I'm so hyped to use. But tell me all the benefits
Yeah.
of mouth tape and why. Like, why is it that, so it's just, is it to force nose breathing and what does that
Yeah.
do for you?
Yeah, so we came up with the Dream Strips because it's the smallest footprint. It's tiny, but it's
Good.
super secure.
Okay.
Especially females with skincare regimens, spray
Yes.
tans, all that
Yes.
stuff. But I use that one because it's just the less you can have in your face, the
Right.
more comfortable it is. And
Yeah.
it's not scary because a lot of them cover your whole mouth, and that one you can still breathe if you want to.
Right, okay.
So nasal breathing in general is super powerful. So
I mean, they do it in meditation all the time.
oh yeah, I mean so our breathing. Think of our breathing is like the steering wheel of our nervous system.
Yeah.
So when your breathing changes, your nervous system reacts, your body follows. So when you start rapidly breathing, when your inhales are longer than your exhales,
Mhm.
you start to ramp your nervous system up and you're
Mhm.
not in a relaxed state. And vice versa, when you're breathing through your nose and you have long exhales, your
Mhm.
body relaxes and a lot of things happen. But when we use the mouth tape, there's a lot of benefits. But when we breathe through our nose, it produces nitric oxide, which is a vasodilator. It expands our blood vessels and allows us to be much more efficient with oxygen. So when that gas is produced in your nose through the friction in your nose, it travels down to your lungs and you're able to absorb more oxygen with less air. So your body's basically having to work less hard to breathe and you're at a much more relaxed state. When you're breathing through your mouth, you're almost under this like chronic stress the entire night.
The entire night?
Yeah, because you're not breathing as efficiently. The other thing that happens is so your vagus nerve is a nerve that controls your nervous system.
Right.
It switches between your parasympathetic, like your relaxed nervous system, and sympathetic nervous system. And there's a ton of nerve endings on the top of the roof of your mouth. So what you want is your tongue to be placed on the roof of your mouth, and that will instantly relax you. And combine that with the breathing, and you're in a very restful place. Like that's why a lot of babies use pacifiers because it's very relaxing. That's one of the reasons why it's calming to kids.
Whoa,
because
never
there's all-
put
yeah.
that. Yeah, wow.
There's all these nerve endings on the top of your mouth that directly linked to your nervous system.
So mouth tape is like a pacifier for adults.
In a way, yeah, from a calming perspective, yeah.
That's so cool.
But then the other thing is the oral hygiene perspective. Probably two more things. The oral hygiene. So when you talk to dentists, one of the main reasons your teeth deteriorate rapidly is just the acidity of your mouth. And so, like 7 is pretty much neutral, right, between acidic and water and all that stuff. So when the acidity drops below like 5.5, your teeth start to break down pretty fast. And when you mouth breathe, it's right around 3.5. So it's just your mouth gets super acidic.
Well,
And
nobody
it
likes
starts
a
to
mouth
break
breather.
down,
Either.
and you get dry mouth, and all those different things happen. And then the last thing is, your jawline. So
What do you mean?
So especially with kids, when you have your mouth open all night, you're breathing through your mouth.
yeah.
Your jawline becomes less defined. Like if you, like whatever position you're in that position for 8
All right,
hours.
say less. I'm mouth taping every night.
So think about
Snap
think about
jawline.
if
Here
you
we
open
come.
your mouth, right, and look at your jawline and what position that's in. That's what your body starts to adapt to. Right.
Oh.
So when they it's crazy, some of the studies done on kids when they change from a mouth breather to a nasal breather, their jawline becomes much more defined.
Can this happen to adults?
Yeah, for sure. But it takes time, like it's structural, so you have to be very consistent with it.
How long before you start noticing benefits?
Like a week. No. Well, no, from a jawline perspective.
No, just like all these benefits.
I mean, night 1.
Wow.
So, I mean, it was life-changing for me. So, my story with it was I was always speaking on sleep, learned all this stuff, tried it out, and I felt so much better. First night, I was like, wow. Like, when you were a kid and you slept and you're just like,
yes,
you're out. Every time you go to bed, you're like, and you wake up and you're like, you never even, I don't know if you remember, but when you're a kid, you didn't even know what quality of sleep was.
No.
Like, every time you slept, it was the same. It was just great.
Well, your biggest problem in life was like what cookie you were going to have the next day.
When people are like, oh, I can't sleep at night, you'd be like, I don't even know what that, like, how does that even?
Yeah.
So I felt like that every single night I started to use it. And so time went on and I was like, okay, I want to dive more into this, learn more. And also there's not any great products out there, right? Like everything was made with like sketchy adhesives. So we use US made adhesive, like medical grade, the best, bamboo silk. We basically like maxed out every material we could. So then I'm like, okay, why is this working so good?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew the science behind it, like conceptually, but for me, like, what's the difference? So I did 2 clinical sleep studies. I did one with the mouth tape, one without the mouth tape. I did the one without the mouth tape, and I was diagnosed with moderate sleep apnea. I stopped breathing. Stopped breathing 86 times throughout the night. They recommended a CPAP, the whole thing. I had no idea. I always thought I slept well. I didn't snore, any of that stuff. Did it with the mouth tape. I only stopped. I had 8 disturbances the entire night, which is less than the average person. Completely fixed everything. My sleep cycles, my REM sleep was up 25%. Deep sleep was up 25%. It was wild. So
I love when the proof is in the pudding.
I know. And you don't know, like, you only slept as yourself, right? So rarely do we get this opportunity to feel like a distinct difference from your perspective, like of, okay, I was doing this, now I'm doing this.
Right.
Usually sleep issues gradually happen over time.
That's true.
So it was cool to like feel the difference.
I mean, I even think sometimes when you know more, like even just tonight going to bed with that mouth tape on, knowing more, I feel like I'm going to sleep better.
Definitely. Yeah. If you believe in it, things work.
I agree with that.
The other great thing is it's crazy how many wives are buying it for their husbands because it helps snoring tremendously.
Okay. That was going to be another question of mine. Does it help snoring?
Yeah.
But I don't understand that because so when you snore, is it because your jaw comes forward or there's like blocked passageways? So I thought snoring was if you can't breathe through your nose.
No, so it's more of like the airway. The airway could be collapsing. You're not creating that seal like with your tongue on the top of your mouth.
Yeah.
Like, that's more the issue.
Oh, okay.
And it creates the noise because it collapses and it flutters back and forth. But
I'm so
also snoring isn't something to be ignored. Like if you're
no, it's a sign.
If you or your significant other has like a intense snoring issue, usually that's a sign of sleep apnea, some form of sleep apnea. So definitely get that addressed. But it can be a really great fix for that. It's actually crazy how much snoring like attributes to divorce. But if you look at how much sleep impacts like mental health and mood stability, and then if you're disrupting that.
So let's talk about ADHD. How does mouth tape help with ADHD?
Every psychiatric disorder is exaggerated by poor sleep.
Yeah.
So whatever ailment you have in the night, that's your brain's ability to kind of reset these neuromodulators, neurotransmitters, your dopamines and serotonins, all those things. And a lot of times with ADHD, there's imbalances there. And so you're eliminating, especially the last few hours of the night.
Yeah.
So that is really impactful for your mental health.
Yeah.
So when people aren't going to bed early enough and they wake up early, you're cutting off the sleep that's affecting that. And that's the only time your brain really has a chance to reset itself. So it just compounds on each other. And like there's some good studies on kids who mouth breathe, and the chances of ADHD go up substantially when they're mouth breathers.
My girlfriend, her 2 kids wear mouth tape, and they are 5 and 7.
Yeah.
And they wear mouth tape.
Yeah. There's some cool ones that are a little less, like I wouldn't put like full tape, but our small strips are great.
Yeah, the little small one for kids.
Yeah, they're I don't know if you saw them, but like they're like this big, and they stick like crazy, which is
That's
awesome.
great.
It took a long time to figure that out, but
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not using like shitty adhesive stuff, and you have to find stuff that actually works.
Yeah, we
you did your research.
I know way too much about adhesives now. I never thought I would know.
Well, that's fair enough. I don't want stuff that's gonna like rip my lips off.
No,
and
it's a delicate balance though between you obviously want it really sticky, but you want it to be able to come off and not mess up your skin.
Yeah.
But we're coming out with something really cool in like 2 months, but
really
I can't say yet.
Dang. Okay. Well, will you let us know
Big game changer.
when
You'll love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me.
You're gonna be hype.
Is it sexy mouth tape? Flavored mouth tape?
I think all mouth tape is sexy.
You're like turned on when Katie has mouth tape on.
Definitely,
You're like, you are
Some
so
people are
hot
into
right
that.
now.
It's like a
Well, it's like a bondage. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I Googled some sleep trivia
Okay.
facts, and I was shocked by some of them. Okay, so 83% of our dreams are in color. Why is that? Just because?
But did you know that
No.
before the color TV came out, they were
People
83% black and white?
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Otherwise, I would have had it written down.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
It's wild.
So you think the older generation dreams more in black and white? That's where
Probably
the other
not
17%
now.
is?
Probably not now.
See the math I just did?
Yeah.
Not now. Okay. Oh, yeah, because color TV.
Maybe though.
Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, the longest record of someone sleeping.
11 days.
Okay, this is where I'm concerned. 11 days, and it's a 7-year-old boy, and they're like, yeah, we finally woke him up. I'm like, why were you not waking him up after day 1?
Yeah.
Of
Well, I
sleeping?
don't know what's going on. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what that was.
Well, obviously something was wrong, but like, no shit.
Yeah.
11 days?
It's a long time.
What's the longest like amount you like to sleep for? Like, do you force yourself to get up at a certain time after a certain amount of hours? Yeah.
I'm definitely like between 8 and 9 hour guy.
Me too.
And I think people don't realize that like that's normal. They did a couple studies last year at Harvard and in Japan about how much sleep is needed. What's the optimal amount of sleep?
Yeah.
And they were 30-year-olds, I think, in their 30s. And what was interesting is they brought them into this lab and they let them get acclimated to the lab. And everyone doing the study was sleeping over 7 hours. So the first couple of nights they brought them into the lab, they slept on average of 10 hours because even though they were sleeping 7 hours, it wasn't enough. And their body was reacting and trying to make up for it.
And that's not body to body. That's just everyone in general.
Yeah,
Okay.
everyone in general. And then they allowed them, they basically gave them 14 hours of sleep. So you can sleep as long as you want, wake up when your body wakes you up. That's considered the optimal amount of sleep. And I think the average was like, it was like 8.5 hours.
Huh.
So that's a long, like most people would be like, oh, that's way too much.
Right.
But you're just used to being chronically underslept.
So that's what I was thinking too. There's a lot of people that are like, I don't really need that amount of sleep. I think I just need 5 to 6 hours, and I'm like, I need 9.
The chances of someone functioning optimally off of 6 hours of sleep day after day is less than 0.5%.
Huh.
So 1 person out of 100, less than that. So when people say that,
yeah,
they're
liars.
The chances
They just
are
don't know any better.
very untrue.
What about the longest record? Now I want to test you. Longest record of someone staying awake with no sleep.
Before dying, I
Yeah.
think it was like 13 days.
People start hallucinating and acting like not themselves.
If you talk to a lot of like endurance runners that do last man standing, which is like a 48-hour race,
Oof.
they'll start hallucinating.
Yeah.
Like, they'll like be running and they think that like a lion is running across the road because when you don't sleep, crazy stuff happens.
Well, because the Book of World Records was like they stopped having people do that
super unhealthy.
because it's just not.
Yeah, you start hearing stuff, you start seeing stuff.
That's crazy.
After pretty quickly, usually like 48 hours, which is not very long.
Yeah, no, that's really not. I love sleep. I'm like excited to learn all this stuff about sleep because I love it so much.
Going back to the minimum, the 6 hour people.
Yeah.
It's funny because what's interesting when people are chronically underslept, like 6 hours every single night, because people are always like, I think I can train myself to sleep less.
Yeah.
And what happens is you can train yourself, but not in the way that you want to be trained. Is as time goes on, like your cognitive performance continues to decrease. So your reaction time, your decision making continues to get worse and worse the longer you do it.
Yeah.
But your perception of how much is being impacted doesn't. So you actually start to think that you're performing well. You don't realize how much the lack of sleep is impacting you. And so you almost, you have this warped sense of perception of how well you're performing and what your cognitive function is the longer you do it. So that's why people who say I'm good at 5 or 6 hours, they think they're fine. It's because they've lost that perspective of how poorly their brain is functioning.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And you're telling me if they just use some mouth tape, put on an eye mask, get some consistent sleep, they can start training their body to sleep better. And
absolutely.
Wow.
I think though, it's not an easy path. Once your body gets used to that routine.
Oh, for sure.
Right. It's not like someone sleeping 5 hours every single night. They think they're good and they can just be like, all right, I'm going to sleep 8. It's going to be a journey.
It's like when Katie tried to convince me I could be a runner, and then I ran for 3 days and was like, I can't run.
Was it 3 days? I think it was like 2.
I actually think it was 5. 3.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was 3 days.
You could definitely be a runner.
Well, I do berries.
Yeah. So what happened?
It's my hips. My hips start hurting. Could mouth tape fix that?
Well, you got to get used to running.
Like battle through the pain?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, really?
I mean, if you've never run.
Yeah, no.
Do your hips hurt in berries?
No.
Why?
Because it's like a treadmill. It's not like pavement.
You can train on a treadmill.
But then you don't run a marathon on a treadmill.
No, but it carries over pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. I'm doing the New York City half marathon next week.
Are you really?
Yeah. And then I'm doing rim to rim in the
What's
Grand
that?
Canyon with Jesse Itzler and a couple. We have a whole group of guys. It's 46 miles.
Sick.
So
What's wrong with you?
You start on one side, you go all the way down across, up to the other side, back down across. So it's 46
Consistently
miles.
running.
Well, you can't run the whole thing because it's pretty steep.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be rough.
Do you feel prepared for this?
I mean, I've been training hard, but like, I don't know if you ever really are like, I'm prepared for this. It's like something like that's pretty gnarly.
You can't really prepare yourself for it, nor would you probably want to, because then you wouldn't do it.
I don't know if I don't even know what to expect.
Well, good luck to you.
Thanks.
I'm worried about you. I just thought of something and I need to ask for myself. These masseters on me are like insane.
Tense.
Does mouth tape help with grinding your teeth?
Definitely, yeah. It can help you relax for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I need that. My last thing for you, and it's probably the most important question I have. We talked about this at Super Bowl, but does having your dog sleep in bed with you affect your sleep?
If he moves around a lot,
They
but that's
do.
a non-negotiable.
Right.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember talking to you about this. Yeah. That's tough.
I know.
I think, honestly, like that's one thing too with mouth tape is nasal breathing.
Can I mouth tape my doggies?
I don't think
You
so.
like that?
You
Is
could
animal
try.
abuse, Kaitlyn?
But nasal
Use
breathing
that for a clip.
reduces the amount of this hormone that's produced that actually makes you go to the bathroom more often. So yeah, it's like
It makes you poop more?
it's like a diuretic. No, pee.
Oh.
So like if you're mouth breathing, you'll have to get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom more often because it's producing more of this hormone.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's another thing. But the reason I say that is because you know how you talked about waking up in the middle of the night and having racing thoughts and anxiety is like you want to give your brain the least amount of opportunities to do that. Right? Like every time you wake up, there's a chance you could start thinking about something, worrying about something.
Scroll TikTok and see some bullshit.
Definitely don't do that.
Yeah.
But or you could stub your toe on the way to the bathroom. Who knows? So
Yeah.
I think doing things like front loading your water intake, your hydration, mouth tape, temperature, eye mask, doing everything you can to limit the amount of times you wake up in the middle of the night because life's tough and there's always stuff to worry about. And so the more often you wake up, every time you wake up, there's a chance that you're not gonna be able to fall back asleep.
Do you sleep with your phone by your bed?
It's on the side table.
Yeah.
If I pick my phone up in the middle of the night, like I'll be awake.
Yeah,
So
same.
I definitely don't do that.
But why is it so tempting? I'm like, all I want to do is sleep, but my phone's right there.
I know. It is tempting. TikTok, I mean, they crush it. The algorithm just sucks you right in. TikTok is the most like, I
When
think
everybody's an expert on there.
I think it gets a bad, for sure. I think it gets a bad rap though because it's like fun. I have a good time watching it.
Usually I do. The last few days hasn't been so fun.
Depends what kind of algorithm you get stuff.
My
in.
algorithm is usually incredible. It's usually dogs, comedians.
Right. And so like that's what I mean. It's like, I think it can be if you use it the right way. If you're like I have 10 minutes and it's not like detracting from other things, it's like fun to do. But people have such a negative opinion on it.
Yeah, I guess it's true. It does depend. What we call that around here, shopping for pain. Like if you want to go and you make your algorithm what it is. If you don't want
shopping for pain.
Yeah, you're going to look for shit.
No, I get it. The worst is like I got in a little mix there for a minute of like dogs' last days videos.
Oh, Jesus.
Katie would look over, I'm just like crying.
No.
Also cry a lot more the older I get.
That's everybody. That's everybody. Especially men, I think. Men get softer with age. But I like that.
I don't know how much softer I can get at this point.
Well, stop watching Dog's Last Days
It's
videos.
bad. But then you kind of like lean into it. It's kind of like when you bite your tongue and then it like hurts, but you want to keep doing
You're
it.
a freak, Todd.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
You guys know what I'm talking about? Or like if you have like if you have like a little like sore or something, you can't stop
picking it,
messing with it.
Sure.
It's kind of like that where like you kind of like you don't want to watch it sad, but it's like kind of.
I get what you're saying, but I couldn't do that with dog videos.
You just talked about it. What'd you call it?
Shopping for pain. I think a lot of us are victims to the snooze button.
Yeah.
And we hit it and we go back into a sleep cycle. How bad is that for us?
The best thing you can do is to set your alarm the latest you possibly can.
Okay.
Because it's not necessarily that the snooze button is bad. There's not anything horrible happening, but those cycles of sleep right before you wake up are so rich in REM cycles. It's super impactful for your mental health. So even, the last 20 minutes, that could be a full REM cycle. And so you're missing out on such good quality sleep. So almost think about that sleep right before you wake up is even more impactful, like twice as important.
Oh, so you don't want to blow that.
Right. That's the best sleep you can get from a mental health perspective.
Oh.
And so you're missing out on a fair amount. Like even 10 minutes is a good amount because the normal person only gets an hour and a half the entire night. Right.
Well, what happens when you hit snooze and then you go back? Because I feel like when I go back to sleep, I go into an even deeper, but then it's too hard to come out of that again.
Yeah, it depends. That's the one thing is there is a little bit of like
gray
fear.
area? Oh.
Well, like people try to make it seem worse than it is a little bit where there's never been anything to show that hitting the snooze is going to have negative long-term outcomes besides just not getting enough sleep.
Got it.
Because everyone's different. Some people can go back into really deep sleep cycles and kind of reset your sleep inertia.
Yeah.
And you feel like you can't wake up after
That's
that.
Me.
But in general, like that sleep is so impactful.
It's like your prime sleep.
Yeah, that's like soak
prime
up as much
hours.
as you can. So literally, I would try to wake up the latest you possibly can, and you'll feel a lot better.
That is what I do. I'm like, what is the latest possible time I could set an alarm for? And then I'm like, I don't have an option to hit the snooze button. I got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other thing, you don't really want to wake up in a stressful environment. So even like picking what type of alarm you have, like, that super aggressive, like iPhone, like loud one. Even if you use like the alarm app on the iPhone that has a gradual, nice, like that can even change, your stress hormones.
I do the hatch and that's
great.
It literally wakes me up with a meditation.
Yeah. And that's such a little easy tweak.
Yeah.
My bed is my bed has these tiny cylinders all throughout it. And so you can wake up, it just gradually creates these little waves in the bed. Yeah.
Are you sponsored by this brand? Tell us.
It's called Bright Balance.
Hell yeah, I want one.
And you can also play like thunder noises before bed and the waves match the noises. It's
how much is
pretty
this?
Pricey.
Yeah.
It's like,
I was like,
it's like $10,000.
And is it a mattress or is it an addition to the mattress?
The mattress.
Oh,
it's
okay.
all integrated. And also
I would guess $10,000.
It measures your heart rate, your heart variability, how many breaths you take per minute, like the whole deal. And you can what's also what another good tip is like Whoop, or there's some other devices, but if you wake up at different times than your partner, which I would say most people do, having a silent alarm is super useful because
totally.
like a vibrating like wrist alarm or like on our bed, you can do each side. It's just like not fair. Like so many issues in relationships stem from sleep problems.
Yeah.
And people are having, sleep divorces and a lot of people are like normalize sleep divorce. And I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'm old school where there's also great benefits from an emotional connection perspective of having skin contact and sleeping together. And I also just think it's symbolic of more in a way.
Yeah.
And I probably gets some negative attention in the sleep world, but there's so many things you can do to combat that before you had to sleep in different rooms.
Right. Yeah.
So.
If you are I guess you don't binge watch if you watch one episode before bed, but how do you shut it off after one episode? I'm like, holy shit, I need more.
Yeah. Well, that's
like Beef. I'm watching Beef on Netflix right now.
I actually think that what you're watching, because there's this whole blue light. Obviously, blue light's bad for your sleep, but the more I look into it, I actually think it's what you're watching is more impactful than the amount of light. Like the more stimulating or like TikTok, if you're really into it, as opposed to if it's just off in the background, even if you had a fair amount of light, I think it's more the stimulation from what you're watching than the blue light.
Okay, let's talk about takeaways. I like to take away things from a pod. Mouth tape reduces.
An embarrassing moment.
What? Oh, fudge! Yes, please confess something to me because
Well,
you walked in here and you said,
I was just like, I know what embarrassing story I should tell.
please tell me. And does it have to do with sleep?
No, I was at the doctor.
Oh, okay.
That's like
Sure. Health, wellness.
sports.
Yeah, sports.
So I was like,
Oh, no.
I think I was like probably like early middle school years. It was the last physical I got where my mom still came in the room.
Okay. Okay.
If that gives
Yep.
you like an awkward age.
Okay.
So I had to get a sports physical, and they do a hernia test. So they grab
yeah.
you and they make you cough, right?
Yep.
So
Oh, no.
so I'm probably like, I don't know, 6th grade, and he's like, okay, we're gonna test for hernia. So you drop your pants, and he's gonna check. And he was an Indian doctor.
Yeah.
And he had a very thick accent.
Yeah.
And so he was saying cough.
Oh, no.
But I thought he was saying golf. He was like, golf.
Oh,
And
no.
I'm like,
You're like, yeah, 9
in my head,
holes.
I'm like, well, I mean, maybe he's going to check out like my rotation of my spine or like how I move. So I literally have my pants down. He's like ready. And I like line up like a golf shot. And I'm like, go to a backswing. He's like, no, cough. I'm like, oh, cough. So it was super embarrassing. It made it even worse because my mom's in the room, but I don't really want her in the room at this age anyways. So it was like the worst moment. I was probably beat red. Yeah, I was like, I don't know, maybe he wants to see,
your spinal
I was playing
rotation.
baseball, so I'm like, maybe, I don't know, like he's checking my hips or my shoulders. But
that's a good one.
like that moment, like I would never.
That's one of those ones where you're doing something random, then you think of it and you go, oh, God.
Oh, it's like, it was the most cringe thing of all time. Like, it hurt my soul. Still kind of hurts my soul a little bit.
Yeah, because when they asked you probably to prep for this podcast and they say that, your brain was probably like, this is my chance to get it off my chest.
That was it. I'm going to be lighter after this.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Maybe you won't. Do you have nightmares about it?
No.
No.
That doctor went home. No one was like, let me tell you what happened. So this kid, his mom's there. The whole mom part is way worse.
That really added another element of embarrassment to that
It's
story.
already embarrassing doing that with your mom in the room anyways.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering what age you were. Like 11?
Probably 12.
Okay. I was going to say 12, but I went 1 year younger.
It was definitely where I was like, no, you don't have to come. She was like, I'm going to come in, that age.
Yes, I know that age. That was like when Kaitlyn, why are we sharing this?
Oh, now you got
I might have actually shared this already, but my niece was like 3, maybe she was 4 at the time, and I was having in the States you guys say taking a shower. In Canada we say having a shower. We were taking a shower and I was helping her wash her hair, and she turned around and she said, "Why do you have an earring in your boob?" And I was like, "You're too old to be in the shower with me.
No.
Get out of here." And then she told my family about the earring in my boob.
I didn't know that existed, but that's also.
Well, it's a nipple piercing.
Funny. I got it now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Got it.
It's a nipple piercing, Todd.
Just one.
Just one. Well, because I was going to get 2, but they did 1, and I said, "Don't touch me ever again."
Oh,
That was the
hurt.
worst pain I've ever felt.
I bet.
It was terrible. Still have it. I got it done when I was 16. Well, tell everybody where they can find you and your Wait, your dream recovery, does it have eye masks too?
Yeah, and masks and pillowcases.
Oh, because silk pillowcases also help.
Yeah, so silk is wild because it's naturally like antimicrobial, kills bacteria.
Yeah.
And then we lace it with silver ions, which is like what Lulu uses in their clothes to make them not smell.
No way.
Yeah, so it's awesome for your skin because it just naturally
hair.
kills all that bacteria. And then your hair,
Yeah.
definitely for silk. But most like silk pillowcases, like the best ones are like 6 mummy. That's the scale they use for silk.
Okay.
So 0 is the worst. 30 is that's like 24 karat gold, the most dense, highest quality. And ours are all 30, like maxed out.
Mm-hmm.
Which, so the more dense there are, the more dense the silk, the less it absorbs moisture and oil. So like for your face and your hair, it keeps all that natural moisture and doesn't absorb it. Like cotton, it would absorb all that.
Yeah.
So if you have like a
that's
big
interesting.
skincare routine, a silk pillowcase is the way to go.
But you would be impressed with how I sleep because I just go like this and I don't move.
Like a mummy.
Yeah. Okay, wait, tell people where they can find it.
On Instagram, just Todd Anderson, but dreamrecovery.io. We're on Amazon now, which is cool.
Cool.
It makes it easy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Good
definitely.
for you.
Strips are on there. But yeah, the strips are amazing.
Yeah.
And then we're coming out with some cool new stuff the next couple
I'm
months.
excited. Can you tell me offline?
Yeah, I'll tell you
Okay.
after.
Okay, thank you for coming.
I'm Kaitlyn Bristowe. Your session is now ending.
And if I'm being honest, I wouldn't mind a rating and review.